Okay, now we are going for the next part, which is structure of the earth, which is the main portion of this content of this chapter. What is the structure of the earth? There are total 3 layers: crust, mantle and core. These 3 layers we are now going to know about the explanation. The first I am going to tell you that crust is the outer layer. Yes, crust is the outer layer. It's a solid layer which envelops the earth's surface as a whole. It's basically uniformly thick and continental crust measures approximately 30 km in the thickness. That means its thickness is 30 km on and around. But in a continent, we can see it's a 70 km thick in the Himalayan region, 5 km thick in the crustal plain. In the oceanic crust, it's called 5 km thinner, and in the mountain ranges like the Himalayas, it's also 70 km thick, or the depth. The continental crust, it's approximately the density is 3 gram per centimeter cube. That is the unit for measurement of the density. And in contrast, if we compare that oceanic crust, it's comparatively composed of basaltic rock, so it's a lower density, about 2.7 gram per centimeter cube. So some of the informations we gathered from this paragraph, that it's a solid layer, it's the outermost layer. That is the first information. The second, which we have learned, there are 2 different parts. First one is continental part and the second one is crustal part. Second one is oceanic part. Continent is almost approximately 30 km thick, whereas oceanic crust is much more thinner, about 5 km thin. Third point, we have learned that the density or the depth, it's up to 70 km. Continental crust density is approximately 3 gram per centimeter cube, and the oceanic crust density are almost 2.7 gram per centimeter cube. These 5 informations we gathered from this above paragraph. Come to the mantle. Below the crust, the mantle is also lying over there. It's extending up to the depth of how many? 2900 km. The upper part of the mantle is called the asthenosphere. Some of the questions are also coming from this part, because just now you have learned the shadow zone. The asthenosphere is also related in this shadow zone, where no kind of segments we can fill. So this is the asthenosphere, which is approximately 400 km thick and relatively weaker structure. Volcanic magma originates from this asthenosphere and making it a crucial source of volcanic activity. There we can also see the combination of crust and upper mantle, which forms the lithosphere, and it ranges from 10 to 200 km in thickness. Asthenospheres are also lying over the solid lower mantle. Come to the last part, which is the core. It's also at the depth of 2900 km. It's a remarkable kilometer depth, 2900 km, and composed to distinct layers. The first one is inner core, we can call it inner core, and the last one is outer core. You can see inner core is a solid layer and outer core is a liquid layer. So this region is predominantly called the Nephe layer. Why it's called Nephe? Because nickel, Ni, and iron, the symbol is ferrous. So Fe, that means Ni plus Fe, is called the Nephe layer. The density of cores are also called the 5 gram per centimeter cube, and it's increasingly approximately 13 gram per centimeter cube in the middle portion. So 3 parts we covered up. Then we will go for the example, that as a real life case study, volcanic activity provides a tangible illustration of the earth structure. Magma which rises from the asthenosphere, which is the upper part of the mantle and which forms the volcano. So it's a earth's interior structure or the internal structure, and between the mantle and the crust we can have some revealing information about the earth's internal structure. So what we have learned from the above 3 layers of the earth, the first one is crust, which is the thickness. Just now we have learned continental, it's 30 km, oceanic it's 5 km, continental crust density 3 gram per centimeter cube, oceanic crust density 2.7 gram per centimeter cube. Mantle, it extends up to 2900 kilometer up to 400 kilometer, the volcanic magma zone. And core begins at 2900 kilometer and it's going up to the double of 2900 kilometer, 5800 kilometer. So its density increases from 5 gram per centimeter cube to 13 gram per centimeter cube. And one volcanic activity is also mentioned over there, which demonstrates that how magma from the upper mantle it reaches to the Earth's surface.